booties for black girl nerds.
Well, thank you so much for talking to Black Girl Nerds.
My Black Girl Nerds.
Hey. Listen, I've seen the 2 episodes.
Oh.
And love the fact that you're the lead. You are the protagonist of the show.
I am.
And your character is very complex.
Yes.
And she goes through it.
She does.
And I can't say too much because
I know it's so hard, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of really great plot twists and turns in this series. So just kind of give us a little bit of a brief overview of what your character is about for our fans and followers.
Well, Gabi Mosely is a bad boss who has experienced tragedy and is complex and hurt, and she's still in the process of healing, but she's also a go-getter, and she has passion, and her passion is finding missing people, because Gabi Mosely was a victim of being kidnapped, and no one came looking for her, and she never ever wanted that to happen or wants that to happen to anyone else. Anyone who is in underserved communities, she's going to be the one that goes and tries to find them. That's professionally. Personally, she's still trying to figure out her process and try how she's going to actually get over, if that you can, which really can you, when something so terrible happens to you, how she's going to manage who she is and how she feels as a person after what happened to her. And she doesn't always make the right choices, and I think that's what's so beautiful about this particular show is you have this protagonist and you see her walking in and she looks all put together and she's boss and she's taking this person and going to find this person and she's knocking folks out, and then she's broken and she's hurt and she's fragile and she's childlike. It's all of these beautiful qualities that makes us human that you get to have in Gabi Mosely. And so I really feel like she's one of those characters that you haven't seen on television before because of all of those.
Facts. Is the series going to lean into more of what stunts Gabi's growth because of how she was impacted with the abuse that she dealt with as a young woman, as a child, really?
What's really beautiful about this series is you get to understand why, because we flashback. You flash back to when she was taken and that entire journey until she really escaped. Mm-hmm. How she escaped, the relationship that she and Sir had, everything that made Gabi Mosely presently, you get to jump back and see. And I think that's beautiful because it'll give you more of an understanding. That doesn't mean that you're going to agree with all the choices that she makes, but you'll be able to understand it a little bit more. And some people may be like, yep, sure enough, got it. Good for you, Gabi. And some people are going to be like, I mean, maybe not the right choices, Gabi Mosely, but I kind of get it. And some people are like, she crazy too. So I think that that's what's really nice is you do get to go on the journey and you do get to see what made Gabi Mosely be Gabi Mosely. The flashbacks are beautiful, and we have one of the finest actresses out right now. And she is so good as young Gabi. So I cannot wait for you to see her.
Do you find that Gabi is more on a power trip with these cases, these missing person cases, or is it just there's a void that's in her that she's trying to fill?
I think it's interesting. I think that at first glance, some people may see, I've not actually thought about that. This is the first time I've been asked that question. Is Gabi Mosely on a power trip? I think that my first instinct is like, no, she's not. Do you know what happened to her? This is what drives her. But I think you can see moments where it does feel like that because she has this whole office of people that are depending on her to lead them. And I don't know if she would be right in any other role but the leader role. So in that way, sure, there is some sort of power trip, but that's not what drives her to wanting to find the people. What drives her is that no one came to look for her. What drives her is that in every case, she sees herself. And she wants the same passion that she has. She wishes somebody would have had that same passion and ran to go look for her. So it's more passion than it is power.
What are some aspects of Gabi that you respect and aspects of her that you see opportunities that she can improve on?
A lot of the things that I respect about Gabi Mosely is knowing your purpose in life. there's nothing like living in your purpose. So that's a huge respect, because you wake up every day and you know exactly what you were meant to do, and you do it. And she does it full speed ahead without hesitation. That I respect. The aspects that I think that she could work on is healing in a way that is not being hidden by purpose, which means she knows what she wants to do. She knows what her passion is, but because that drives her so much, she hasn't really focused on her own healing. She's so focused on healing everyone else, and we see that a lot if you think about people and friends, that she hasn't taken enough time to actually do the work on herself, because it's been so important for her to heal everyone around her. And so that would be what I would say she would have to work on.
All right, thank you so much for talking to Black Girl Nerds. Your character, he's not a good guy.
Depends on how you look at it.
But he is pretty complex, because he ends up, and I'm trying to do this without spoiling, but he ends up assisting the protagonist in a way with this series. So first of all, for our audience, kind of share what your character is all about.
And just to say that I can talk about what happens because you guys have seen the first episode.
Yeah, I've seen the first two episodes.
So I can talk about those two things.
Yes.
So, my character years ago abducted Gabrielle, played by Shanola, and she, in turn, in the present, has captured Sir, who was her captor, and he is now helping her with some of the cases of some of the people that she's trying to find currently. My character is somebody had asked me, is there any humanity in my character, and I believe there is. And I think that you'll see as the season progresses, you'll understand why Sir has become the way he has. I'm not saying it's justified, but it's how he was able to manage and cope and become the person that he is now.
You say that you see some of the humanity in this character. What are the aspects of him that you respect?
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't respect a lot of what Sir is. I have 4 children of my own, and so this type of character to me is something that I really struggle with on a personal level. So I know that NK, our writer, showrunner, has written things to show the audience that he is indeed human. I have a hard time understanding why Sir has taken his past and dealt with it in this way. So I'm not one to say like, oh, there's a good guy in there somewhere. I try to play it. I don't try to play a one-note character because that wouldn't be challenging. So I do try to inject some things into the character to make it a little more rounded and more complex, but on the surface, it's kind of a gross character.
Yeah. Were there? I totally agree.
It's really hard to say like Sir when you see what he's done.
Yeah.
It's really hard to root for this guy. But you'll see things in his past that you might have some sympathy for him.
Right.
And that's about as, I think that's all you can give him at the moment. I don't know.
We'll see how the journey goes throughout the season. Are there any real life, either individuals or fictional characters that you looked at or researched while you were prepping for this role?
NK had said to look at Ted Bundy. And she said because he was charming. He had a way of disarming people because of his charm, and you wouldn't suspect that he would do the heinous things that he did. And so she said, look more in that direction. And so I watched a documentary on him and did a lot of other research. And it was at the time that Dahmer was coming out. And so you watch these other gross individuals and you try to pull pieces from there. But at the end of the day, you just kind of go off of what you're given. And I always say to my writers and NK, I'm playing a really sick individual, but you guys have written this stuff for me. So what does that say about you guys? I mean, I'm just, portraying what you put on a page. So we have some really twisted people in our writers office. Some good stuff.
And finally, there's so many shows on television right now. Why should viewers tune into Found, which is coming out this fall?
It's an interesting take on a show that you could label as a procedural, as a case of the week. We have that, and then we have something deeper and darker, and just kind of adds to a known genre that people enjoy week after week. And I think that paradigm has always been successful. So by injecting something with a little spice in it, I think we'll hopefully bring in more viewers and give people what they want.
Thank you so much for talking to Black Girl Nerds. Appreciate it. All right, Gabrielle, we're speaking to you about Found, and I want to know about your character's journey throughout the season. Obviously, we can't say too much.
Right.
Can you kind of give us an idea of what your character's journey looks like this season?
Well, Lacey was a survivor of abduction. So throughout the story, you will see her deal with those challenges of feeling safe. She's finally found a place to put her trauma and pain into something, to be able to find these missing people, just like she was missing, but it also compromises her own sense of safety. So she has to balance that drive with creating a safe place for herself. And, her hero, Gabi Mosely, has a dark secret, and some of that bleeds into Lacey's journey and her sense of safety, and also, knowing your heroes and finding out about your heroes, right?
Absolutely. What are some aspects of Lacey that you respect, and what are some aspects of Lacey that you think there's some opportunities that she needs to improve on?
I think what I love about Lacey is that she's hopeful, she's positive, but in some sense it's a little bit naive, life and people, there are dualities. People are more than just one thing, and she is more than just one thing, and finding out about yourself, I think, is sort of like a paradigm shift, right? So she has to deal with those challenges of learning about the people that she loves, and that people can be just more than just one thing. But she's also a seeker of truth, a freedom fighter, and she loves justice, and that's the heart of Lacey. She wants to find out the truth and have the truth prevail, and that everyone gets the justice that they deserve.
And finally, why, there's so many shows out right now. And
I know. And so many that I love, too.
So many that we love. And Found is going to be premiering in the fall. Why should viewers tune into this show?
Well, I think it's not what you expect. Each and every episode has a twist or a turn that you're just like, what? Wait, I wasn't seeing that coming. And I'm pretty good at predicting things. Let me tell you, I can find out what the endings are before they happen. And every single episode, every single script I read surprised me and broke my heart. And I think that's what you get to look forward to. You get to look forward to meeting these different characters, hearing about their stories, and seeing how those work into finding these missing people and go on this twisting and winding journey till the end with us.
Thank you for talking to Black Girl Nerds, Gabrielle.
Thank you.
Better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds. Better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds.